Hey, hi all. Good evening. So today we are going to discuss another question on my LinkedIn post. So this is the question which I have posted. I think I posted yesterday maybe. Okay. So question is write a query to retrieve the net balance and the most recent transaction for each customer based on their latest transaction. So first of all, let's try to understand the question. So this is the data. This is the input data. Data is all about like two customers, customer ID 101 and then 102. Okay, this is like a prototype of the bank statement. So customer ID 101, he has done certain transactions. Okay, on just a minute. He has done certain transactions, and this is the date like on different dates he has done some transactions, credit and debit transactions. Similarly, 102, he also has done some transactions on different dates, including credit and debit. But what we want is we want you to write a query to fetch the current net balance we want. Okay. Like for 101, if you see the net balance is 700, including all this credit and debit when you will do no, it will be 700. Like see, credit is 800 plus 200. 1000 is credit. Debit is 300. So 1000 minus 300, it is 700. Now to make it more interesting, I have just kept here null. And I think you all know the definition of null, right? So we'll come to that one. This is the expected outcome. So it means on 30th April 101, for 101 on 30th April, which is the latest transaction he has done. After that, he has not done any transaction. The net balance was 700. Similarly, for 102, on 20th April, the next net transaction is 900. Okay. So this is what you have to display. You have to write a query to display this output. Now, there are multiple ways to solve it, and I appreciate many of you have solved it and shared the solution. So I will share two solutions to this as of now. Okay. First of all, in this we have to find the total sum. Okay, or you can tell like the net balance for each and every customer, right? So for that, what I will do, I will go first of all stepwise. I will not tell you that which query is optimized and which is the shortcut and all those things. Let's go first of all stepwise. So you have custid ID, transaction date, and then we have a status, and then we have amount. Now here in sum, I'll write a case statement. Case when status equals debit, then minus one into amount, else amount, and then end. Why I'm doing this? Because like we have few debit and credit transactions, right? Suppose if I will not write it, I will directly write, let's forget about it. Suppose if I'm not writing it, let's go one step back. I will directly write here, select sum of amount, forget about this. Sum of amount over partition by customer ID, order by transaction date as net balance from bank statement. Why this is the table. If I'm executing this, what is the problem here? Or do you think this is the correct one? What do you think? Anyone?
No, sir, it's not correct. Debit will be reducing the money from net balance.
Hmm. So actually what has happened here, if you see for each and every customer, let's say for customer ID 101, if you analyze, so what is happening? Even the debit it is considering as positive and that is getting added in the net balance, right? See here, what is happening? 25th April, 800 was credited in his account, so net balance at 800, which is correct. 28th April, again, 200 was credited in his account, so net balance is 1000, that is also fine. But 29th April debited. It means 300 he has spent somewhere or maybe withdrawn from the ATM. So the net balance should be 1000 minus 300. It should be 700, no? Right? But why it is coming as 1300? Because engine has added 1000 plus 300, which is coming as 1300. Actually, that is what you are telling to the SQL engine, sum of amount. So engine has derived the cumulative sum here, right? But you have to give this intelligence to the SQL engine. If it is debit, you have to subtract it, right? You have to give this intelligence. Is this point clear? Right? So for that purpose, I'm using this statement. Let me write it here. For that purpose, I'm using this case. Within sum, I'm writing this case statement. For many of you, you might be surprised. Generally, we use case with select statement, right? So it's select clause. But multiple times I have told you this. Okay, this is purely a misconception. The case statement can be used only with select. I totally agree. Mostly it is used with select, but nothing like that. Case you can use with order by. We have seen in our SQL course. Case you can use with update. Case you can use with joins. And similarly, see here, I'm using case within sum. So that is allowed. So here I'm telling to the SQL engine, case when status equals debit, then minus one into amount. It means you perform minus one into amount. It means whatever the amount is multiplied with minus one. So what will happen? Automatically that will be subtracted. And then I have written here else amount. It means apart from that, whatever is there. So we have only debit and credit. So apart from debit, you are left with credit only. So you're telling keep the amount as it is for the else part. So the else part is credit only. Is this point clear? This case statement is clear to everyone? Okay. Now, when I
Yes.
was looking into the solution posted by few folks, but what I really appreciate for those, respective your solution is correct or incorrect, never mind it. Okay. Always try to solve the question and post it. Okay. Never think what world will think over it. Never think about that. Post your solution. Okay. See, I think that is a responsibility. So I comment over it. Okay, you can modify this, you can do this and all those things. Okay. But never take that in a negative way, anyone. And I appreciate you all always means if that is correct, you agree ki yes, Tanvir, and that modification is needed. So similarly, one of the participant, they have written when a status is equal to debit, then minus one into amount. Then he has written when status equals credit, then amount, else zero. Okay, he has written this. So see, if you're writing this, 1 minute, let me show you the output. First, let me show you the output. See, still the output is correct. For 101, if you see, the net balance on 30th April is 700. And for 102, the net balance is 900, which is the correct one. Okay. If I will execute this, so you will get the same output. For 101 on 30th April, net balance is 700. For 102 on 20th April, net balance is 900, which is correct. But can you tell me from the performance perspective, which one is good? Solution one or solution two? I have not reached the final solution as of now. Even that is not my intention to just show you the final query and we'll be happy. Okay, we have solved the question. Now I want to show you the entire journey, the different concepts and the misconceptions. So can you tell me which solution is a better one or two here?
Solution one.
Why?
Because in the case statement is only one when condition is there, right? In the
Hmm.
solution to two when conditions are there.
Hmm. Even in solution 2, you have used two when statement. I totally agree. That is also correct. I'm getting the correct output. I'm not telling that this is incorrect. But my question is why you're giving one additional task to the SQL engine of this when and then again else. So don't you think you're giving additional task to the SQL engine? Ki first of all, engine will evaluate this condition, it will perform this operation. Then it will check when status is equal to credit. It will again check where the status is credit and then amount, else zero. Do you think is this required? No.
No.
You know, like the status is credit and debit only. Then, boss, why you are giving this additional task to the SQL engine? And in the financial transactions, let's take the example of any UPI payment, okay, or any other. Can you imagine the number of transactions happening on Paytm or PhonePe on a daily basis? Millions and millions of transactions are happening. Now, if you're writing this query and consider this for those millions of transactions, how much burden you are giving to the SQL engine? Understood? So that is why once you will get maturity, you have to think about these scenarios as well. And trust me, all these things matters when you are dealing with 500 million records, 600 million records. Even if you are adding one additional column in select, no, that impacts the performance. If you're dealing with huge volume of data. So this point is clear. So that is why solution one is a better as compared to solution two. Someone has mentioned this condition. I like commented it there. Okay, but that is fine. I appreciate his solution was correct. Okay. So this was the this is not the complete solution. So this is just one step I'm telling. Okay, here we have derived this and we got this value. So I hope this is clear now how this is derived. This is a cumulative sum. And here actually I want to show you that yes, we can use case statement within sum. This is allowed. Okay. Generally there's a misconception that within sum you can directly use a column, but you can use case as well. So this is the first point. Now, in this, what I will do, I have derived the case I've derived the sum part. So one thing is clear, but as per the question is asking ki I don't want the entire data. My client is telling ki, no, no, Tanvir, I don't want to see this entire data, boss. Because maybe the customers, they can have a lot of transactions, right? So the client is not interested in the entire grain of data one by one. He is telling me, just tell me the final net balance and as of that particular date when he has done the last transaction. That is what the client is looking here. Okay. It means now I have to find the maximum transaction date. So for that, I will write this query, maximum transaction date. Okay. And then I will write here over partition by customer ID because we need to find this for each and every customer ID. So now let me execute it. Now see, okay, let me give some alias here as maximum transaction date. Now let me execute it. So now you see the new column. This is giving the maximum transaction date. For 101, the maximum transaction date is 30th April. For 102, the maximum transaction date is 20th April, which is the correct one, right? If you see 101, the last transaction he has done on 30th April 2022. 102, the last transaction he has done on 20th April 2022, right? So how this is getting executed, it's very simple. And this is again one use case. Yes, you can use aggregate function along with the window function. So I'm telling SQL engine here to do the partition by customer ID. And within each customer ID, tell me what is the maximum transaction date. That is why for 101, 30th April is the maximum transaction date. For 102, 20th April is the maximum transaction date. So I hope that it is clear so far. So net, we have derived the cumulative sum. We have derived the maximum transaction date. But still, this is not the complete output because my client is telling that Tanvir, I don't need the entire history here. Just show me the last transaction and along with the net balance, right? Then what I will do after this, I will create a row number I will derive here. Row number over. Again, don't ask me, Tanvir, this is very complicated. We can solve it in a much easier way. I know. And that solution as well, I will show you. But as of now, my intention is not to show you the optimized solution. First of all, my intention is to show you all the possible solutions. Then on top of it, we will decide which one is a better one from the performance perspective. Okay. So I will write here partition by test ID, order by transaction date descending. And I will give this as RN. Now, can you think how this RN will help us? Anyone? Any thought? Why I'm deriving RN? Any idea?
Rn is equal to 1 will give the maximum last transaction.
All right. So I have used here partition by customer ID. I'm telling SQL engine can create partition for each and every customer ID, but sorted based on the transaction date in descending order. So if it is sorted based on the transaction date in descending order, so automatically the latest one will get the row number one. That is what is happening here. You see, for 101, your RN1 is for 30th April, right? And then this 30th April 2 this is RN2. And then, sorry, this 29th April is RN2. Then 20th April is RN3 and 25th is RN4. Similarly, for 102, the row number one is for the last transaction, 20th April. Now, what you can do, you can keep this in a CT. That's all. You keep it in a CT, and after that, like what you have to do, just apply, select, start from CT1, where RN equals 1. Oh, this will give you the transaction on 30th April. Net balance was 700. For 102, the last transaction was made on 20th April, and the net balance was 900. Now, if you don't need all these columns, so you can mention the customer ID, comma, the transaction date, comma, net balance. That's all. Execute this. So customer ID 101, the last transaction he has done on 30th April, and the net balance was 700. 102, the last transaction done on 20th April, net balance was 900. Hope this is clear. Solution 1. So net, what we have learned from this point number 1, you can use case within sum. This is allowed. Next point, you can use aggregate functions in the window function. It is not like in the window function means only you can use rank, dense rank, row number, lead, lag. Or you can use these functions as well. Then the application of row number. Generally, I used to get this question. That means what is the application of row number here? We know like rank, dense rank, we can use to find highest, second highest, and all those things. But what is the application of row number? So see, row number, with the help of row number, we have applied the filter here, right? I hope this solution is clear, everyone. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, coming to the solution 2, which will be the simpler one, okay, as compared to this. So here, what I will do, I will just write select customer ID, and then the maximum transaction date. No, I will not show you maximum transaction date as of now. So here I will use this one. This one. From bank statement. I'm executing it. Oh, group by. Sorry. Group by customer ID. Let me execute it. So for each customer, I'm getting the net balance. 700 for 101. For 102, it is 900. Because that is what I'm telling to the SQL engine. I want sum of amount column. And I'm handling when it is debit minus else amount. So I'm getting the final net balance for each customer here. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
but we don't have the maximum date. So now what I will do here, I can write here max of transaction date. Okay, now let me execute it. So you got the max of transaction date 101. The last transaction was done on 30th April. Net balance is 700. You can give the alias as net balance here. Hope this is clear. So of course, this is the simplest solution 2. But actually what happens though, when you just started learning SQL, so it will take time to reach to that optimized solution. Okay, so better you start with a step by step. Try to break the question. Okay, what first I have to do? First, we have to derive the sum, net balance. Then think, okay, then now I have to find the maximum transaction date. Then think that, okay, how I can filter it out. So here I'm showing you step by step how you have to think over a question. This solution, you can reach to this solution once you have a good maturity. Okay, a lot of questions you have practiced, then you can write this. solution. But when you're just starting learning the SQL, don't think directly in the one shot I have to write an optimized solution. No, just think I have to solve this question with all the possible ways, then compare the solution which is better from performance. Now easily you can tell that solution 2 is better from performance perspective here, right? So these are the two solutions. One more thing I want to communicate here. Like if you see this bank statement table, so here intentionally I have used null in the 101 customer ID. But do you think this null is having any impact or it is disturbing your calculation anywhere? No, it's not disturbing.
No.
Because when you are adding, suppose if I write sum of amount and if null is there, that's not a problem. Null will not create any problem or it will not show any exceptional behavior. Then why you want to handle null with NVL or coalesce? Is that required? Batao, is that required? No, that is
No.
not required because this null is not disturbing the calculation. No. Then why I should use NVL and convert this null to 0 and then add? No, not needed. If you have to perform the average, so that scenario I have covered in each and every batch, right? In the average, sorry, in the average calculation, if you have null, then the output can be different, right? So in those cases, then you have to handle null using NVL. But here, NVL is not required. Why you're going to handle null? You are giving additional tasks to the SQL engine. So that is again like someone has used. So I commented there, NVL is not needed. So that's all from my end. Do you have any question here, anyone? Okay. Maybe next week I'm planning to schedule a session for 30 minutes about the career guidance, because I know many of you are confused, especially the non-technical folks or those who are in the recruitment team, HR team, operations team, support team. Okay, those who are purely from the non-technical backgrounds, if they're planning to enter into the IT industry, they're a bit confused which stream they should opt, data engineer or data analyst or the business analyst. What are the skills needed for it? What is the future? What will be the impact of AI? And how much salary they will get? Sometimes you have a question, Gitanveer, I have 10 years, I'm into the recruitment. Now, if I will go to the data analyst, will they consider me as a fresher? So how to deal with it? So I know like a lot of questions I'm getting on a daily basis based on this scenarios. So next week, I'm planning to conduct a 30 minutes workshop, a 30 minutes session, career guidance. So plan to attend it. Okay. So that's all from mine. Any question, anyone? This is the last call. No, fine then. We'll update we'll share the recording with you. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Tanvir.
Thank you, Tanvir.
Everyone.
Good night.
Night. Good night.